We were founded in September 1994 in Williamsburg, Virginia, because that's where our founder, Buzz Schmidt, lived. A good portion of our staff is still located in Williamsburg. I'm in our Williamsburg office. Our headquarters, though, is now in D.C. We opened our doors with 5 employees and with funding from the Ford, Kellogg, Mellon, and Rockefeller Foundations. 2 years later, we published the GuideStar Directory of American Charities. And the directory was actually on the CD. The book was the index. And we had reports, either full or partial reports, on about 42,000 charities. Of course, something you publish is out of date the minute you publish it, and the Internet was taking off at the same time. So in October 1996, we launched our website, or our first website, and we put our 40,000 plus nonprofit reports in a database that was accessible through the web. That's also the month that we received our status from the IRS as a 501c3 public charity, which means we're in our own database. Our mission is to revolutionize philanthropy and nonprofit practice by providing information that advances transparency, enables users to make better decisions, and encourages charitable giving. And the translation of that is, we believe the more information charities make available about themselves, or nonprofits, the more information, official information we can make available, the better off everyone is. People who give to support the organizations, people who work in them, people who rely on them, people who regulate them. Before GuideStar was founded, there was no place where a donor could go and check up on a charity or a supposed charity that was asking them for money. Your choices were the charity's literature, or if they had a website at that time, their website. GuideStar was founded so that you would at least know that the organization was recognized by the IRS, because all nonprofits in our database are recognized or have been recognized by the IRS as tax exempt, and I'll get into that have been section a little bit in just a few minutes. Today, our database has 1.8 million tax-exempt organizations in it. That includes all of the tax-exempt organizations registered with the IRS, a number of faith-based organizations that have provided us documentation showing that they are recognized by the IRS as tax-exempt. And we also have information, historical information on nonprofits that were tax-exempt when we added them to the database, but have since had their exemptions revoked. And those organizations are clearly marked. This is an entry from the search results for an organization that just had its status revoked, and you can see it says in red, exempt status revoked. And if you clicked on the little details indicator there, it would pop up and give you more information. If you look at the organization's report, you're going to see that same message is there front and center. Or actually it's on the left, but that message is there, it's prominent, it's in red, it's in bold, telling you that this organization is no longer recognized by the IRS as tax exempt. And for the other organizations, obviously, we don't have those messages, and that's how you know that they're still recognized by the IRS. You will hear GuideStar referred to as a watchdog. We are not a watchdog. Those people who refer to us in that manner are mistaken. We are a neutral platform of nonprofit information. We do have charity evaluations and charity reviews on our site. Those are provided by expert partners, and it's another type of information in our opinion. And I'll talk some more about the information that we do provide. Data sources. The foundation of our database is really the IRS Business Master File. It is the master listing of organizations that the IRS, that are registered with the IRS as tax exempt. And it's updated monthly, and we automatically import those updates into our database. I think right now the IRS has about 1.6 million organizations in the BMF. We also import data from IRS Publication 78, which is the listing of organizations that are eligible to receive tax-deductible contributions. Most of that information is only available to subscribers of our GuideStar Charity Check service, which is primarily grant makers and community foundations subscribe to that. But it is another source of data for us. We also automatically import the IRS revocations of automatic revocation of exemption list. And those are organizations like the Klingon Language Institute that I showed you the report for, or the note for earlier, that were required to file an annual return, or a 990, with the IRS, but failed to do so for 3 consecutive years. And the Pension Protection Act of 2006 requires the IRS to revoke automatically the tax-exempt status of any organization required to file that fails to do so for 3 years. And that list was first published on June 8th of this year, and it is updated regularly, and when it's updated, we import that information into our database and identify those organizations that have lost status with the red message I showed you. Another source of information we import into the database is the Office of Foreign Assets Control's list of specially designated nationals. And in this case, those are organizations that OFAC says either are engaged in terrorism or supporting terrorism. It's against the law to have any financial dealings or any dealings with those organizations. When we come up with an organization like that, actually, let me take that back. To my knowledge, these are the organizations that have been listed as specially designated nationals by OFAC. And every time OFAC generates this list, and they do that routinely, we review it to make sure that no additional charities or nonprofits are on it. And when we do find an organization on the list, we put this is from the search results, we put the message explaining that the organization either has had its assets seized by the Department of Treasury, or that its exemption has been suspended under Internal Revenue Code Section 501P. The IRS is the organization that suspends the exemption, and OFAC is the department that actually seizes the organization's assets. Right now, to my knowledge, all of the organizations that were on that list I showed you have had their tax exemption suspended. One of them for a long time had had its assets seized but wasn't suspended. And for that one, we did have a message saying on thus and such a date, the U.S. Department of Treasury, acting under Executive Order XYZ, seizes or froze this organization's assets, and you cannot have any transactions with it. So these organizations are clearly marked. Another source of information, and quite often this is what people come to the site looking for, are the IRS Forms 990, 990EZ, and 990PF that tax-exempt organizations must file with the IRS annually. There is also an electronic form, Form 990N, that organizations with incomes of $50,000 or less are required to file. That information we do not get from the IRS. It's really not much more than the business master file. And now that the IRS has started automatically revoking tax-exempt status for organizations that don't file for 3 consecutive years, there's really not a lot that the 990N is going to add to our database. We digitize about 300 fields from the 990s. And by digitize, I mean we actually hand key the information. It's a double-blind system where 2 people type the information from the same 990. They don't know who's working on which one. A computer program compares what they've typed. If there's a discrepancy, it flags it, and then a human being comes in, compares what's been typed to the actual form, and determines what is the correct entry. It's got a better than 99% accuracy rate, and we're very proud of that. And that is the information that quite often allows us to do more in-depth searches of the site, and we also, people purchase it from us, and it informs GuideStar Charity Check and GuideStar Premium, 2 of our services. And last but definitely not least, we get data from the nonprofits themselves. And here's just part of the checklist of the information they can provide us. Basically, they provide us with narrative information about their missions, their programs, their accomplishments, their goals, any special needs they have, their leadership, and they can update as often as they wish. And it's frequently the most up-to-date information we have on the site, because there can be a lag time between when the IRS gets a 990 and when we get it. There's definitely a lag time. And the Business Master File and the other publications are updated regularly, but there's still a lag between one update and the next. So that is where we get our information. And I want to show you how you do a search on GuideStar, how you find the 990s, and if we have time, I'll show you some things about a couple of other parts of the site. Before I do a live search, though, I want to show you the results for the search and what someone gets when they aren't registered with our site, or if they're registered and not logged in. And I'm going to show you slides because I don't have enough browsers to do this one live. When you search, if you search for GuideStar, you search if you're not registered or logged in exactly the same way as you would, as I'll show you in just a minute. This is the search results, and this is the report, and that is GuideStar's report. There's just basically not a lot of information for you. But now, let me go to our live site. And, okay, that's my GuideStar Premium here. If you are registered with us and if you're registered with us and you've logged in, but you don't subscribe to GuideStar Premium, GuideStar Charity Check, this is what you're going to see. You can enter your keyword in the search box on our home page, or if you wanted to and you wanted to do a nonprofit search, you might want to go to Advanced Search. And if you're not registered, this is what you get. I knew I was forgetting something before you called, before we started this. I wanted to log in real quickly so that you will see what you get when you are registered with us but not logged in. As you can see, when you're registered and logged in, you get more search fields. In this case, I'm just going to use keywords though, because I'm looking for GuideStar. So you go to GuideStar. The search results are a little more informative than they were for, let me go back up here real quickly. It's not the results. Than they were here. I apologize. I was trying to scroll up and it won't do that. Anyway, there's some information if you're not registered, but the search results are a little more informative now. And if you click on the report, you're going to get some information about our basic information. We have provided these statements through the GuideStar Exchange, which is how nonprofits update. You're not going to find financials. You will find, if you are registered and logged in, the 3 most recent 990s that we've received from the IRS for any organization. And if the organization has provided 990s, you can see those. You'll see a description of the chief executive if the organization has provided it, and the board if there's a statement from the board chair. If the organization has provided it, you'll see a list of the board of directors. Otherwise, you need to subscribe to GuideStar Premium to see that. Programs and help, you can see. This is taken from the organization's Form 990. And the organization happens to be GuideStar, but this is taken from our Form 990. Nonprofits that participate in the GuideStar Exchange are not allowed to overwrite information from their 990s. They actually provide the information under Programs and Help, News. So some of it's there. Actually, I take that back. This one's not from the 990. This is from the Exchange. Some of this is from the Exchange, and some is from the 990. So that's what you get if you are registered with us and have logged in. Now, if you're a GuideStar Premium subscriber, you get more. And Again, we're looking up GuideStar. You can see there's more information in the search results. You can access the most recent 990 that we've received from the IRS for an organization directly from the search results. Again, you get the employer identification number, you get asset income information, and you get the organization subsection, which does not actually meet IRS criteria for verifying organizations' eligibility to accept tax-deductible contributions for purposes of making a grant. But for just general information that's there, you need to use Charity Check for that. With premium, you get a revenue and expenses breakdown. You get the same overview information and some additional information, but you get digitized financial information, and you get, with GuideStar Premium subscriptions, you get all the information that we've digitized for the organization over the years, and you just click on a year to get a different response. Documents, you get all the 990s we've received from the IRS for an organization. You get financial statements if they provided them, annual reports, letter of determination, which is the letter from the IRS saying, yes, your application for tax-exempt status has been granted, and if the organization has provided an application for exemption, which is a public document, then you'll get that as well. People, you will get a list. This is the same information you get with the registered experience, but when you get down here, you get the list of officers for all of the years that we've digitized, all the that were listed on 990s, for all the 990s we've digitized. And again, you can change the year just by clicking on whatever year you're interested in. Mission and impact, this is actually our impact statement. This is what we provided through the GuideStar Exchange. I was right, programs and results. This information came from our Form 990. So that, in a nutshell, is what you get when you are searching the site. Other things that we have, if you're an nonprofit that wants to update your report, you click on Update Nonprofit Report at the top. And down here, I do not have permission to update a nonprofit report logged in this way. So you would enter your employer identification number here, click Request Permission, and follow the instructions. There's more information on how to update your report. There's, on the left, there's a checklist, if I can find it, nonprofit report checklist of the information that you can provide. We also, the organizations that provide the most information get the GuideStar Exchange seal, and that indicates that they've provided all of the information, required information indicated in this column. And it's just to let users know that the organization has been transparent about its finances and programs. Take Action at GuideStar is where you can find expert analysis of specific causes and recommendations about specific organizations. Disaster response, if you click there, you will see in a minute, come on, you'll see the little P stands for Philanthropedia, one of our expert partners, and these are the organizations that Philanthropedia's experts have recommended, and there's a map indicating them, and if you click on one of them, you will get the summary of, or the analysis of what Philanthropedia's experts said. The other section I wanted to show you, review a charity. You have anyone who uses the site and has first-hand knowledge of a nonprofit's activities but is not a paid employee of that organization can write reviews of that organization, or write a review of the organization, and this is information on how you can do that with links to some tips for writing effective reviews. And then at the top, I wanted to show you the news link. The news link actually takes you to a subsection that includes our articles that we publish in our newsletter, our past newsletters, and I will be updating these links today. We will have the newsletters posted through October 6th. I just need to clean up a couple of things on them. But you can actually look at our old newsletters, and the links in them do work to the articles. We have news releases, all of the news releases we've posted. GuideStar in the news, recent news stories mentioning us. Publications are our reports on specific issues and Due diligence and verification, new rules for grant makers and donors. They're all free. Some of them you can download immediately when you click on the page. Some you do need to provide us with some contact information. Speakers Bureau, if you're interested in having GuideStar experts speak at your group or conference. And then webinars. And then I'll end here by clicking on the link under webinars, and then on the left, Lunch and Learns. And this is our Lunch and Learn schedule. It's complete through the end of October. We'll probably be updating it sometime this week for the first 2 weeks in November. And again, you get to that by clicking News, Webinars, and then on the left, Lunch and Learns. So let me see if we have any questions. And let me see. What else can cause revocation of 501c3 status? If the organization is a 501c3 charitable organization, either a charity or a private foundation, and it supports a candidate for public office, the IRS can revoke its tax-exempt status and has been known to do so. If the organization engages in excessive compensation or insider benefits, it's called private inurement. If the people who run the organization, the board members or the key officers actually are benefiting materially from the organization beyond being paid market rate, the IRS can revoke tax-exempt status. And there are other categories as well. Those are the ones that come to mind most quickly. We have a 990 question. Okay, so those are all those questions. Let me make sure that we don't have anything under chat. What is the exchange? The GuideStar Exchange is our program that allows nonprofits to update their information on GuideStar. And it's a free program. Any organization in our database is welcome to update its profile, and they can do so at no cost to the organization, and then the information that they provide is available at no cost to our users, or most of it's available, so a little bit is saved if they provide their financial reports. Then that is actually only available to GuideStar Premium and GuideStar Charity Check subscribers. But the bulk of the information they provide through the exchange is available to our users, the people who access programs reports on the site. And that's where they can update the information about their mission, their programs, their needs, their accomplishments, their goals, and their leadership. So I believe, well wait, we may have one more question. If a company is not on GuideStar, does this mean they are not a nonprofit organization? Not necessarily. You have to do more research to find out. They could be a faith-based organization. Faith-based organizations are not required to register with the IRS. And if they haven't come to us and asked to be added to the site and provided us with documentation that they are recognized as tax exempt, then you won't find them on GuideStar. In a case like that, what you want to do is ask the organization itself. If they are a new organization that has just received tax-exempt status from the IRS, they might not yet show up in the business master file. And again, if they haven't come to us and given us a copy of their letter of determination, we won't have them. In a case like that, ask the organization if you can have a copy of its letter of determination or see a copy of its letter of determination. And that is a public document. They have to provide it. If you have an IRS letter of determination, then you are tax exempt. And then there are organizations that are nonprofit but are not tax exempt at all, because the state, nonprofit is a state designation, tax exempt is federal. Another question. I noticed reviews to the left of the first GuideStar entry we looked at. What is this and how is it different from the expert partner charity reviews? The reviews that you saw on the first entry were provided through the writer review function, and they're provided by people who have firsthand experience with an organization. They do that they can do it on our site or through NGP. Good nonprofits. Sorry, good nonprofits, greatnonprofits.org. That's our partner for writing reviews. And basically, if you have firsthand experience with a nonprofit and you are not a paid staff member, so if you're a volunteer board member, a volunteer envelope stuffer, a client of the organization, a donor, you can write a review. And to do that, you look up the organization. Let me go here. Let's do Smithsonian. Let's see if they have any reviews. Read reviews. Do we have any? Nope, no reviews. But you can see right here, write a review. And you would click on that, and up it comes, and you give your rating, you define your role, and then you type your review. And that's the process. The expert reviews are from Take Action. It depends on the partner. Here's a list of the partners we have right now. We're about to add one more. They have different methodologies for how they do the reviews. But, for example, Philanthropedia has people who are experts. They actually vet who all their experts are. Let me see one that Philanthropedia has done, microfinance. I'm going to go here. They have, if you look at the recommended charities, for microfinance, they had 131 sector experts. And essentially what they do is they'll ask the experts, name the 5 top organizations in this area and why you think they're the top organizations. And they find that they'll get 100 to 200 suggestions, but generally it'll always be that the same 4 or 5 organizations will come up to the top. So then they'll contact the experts and say, okay, you and your fellow experts have identified these organizations. Give us an analysis of this organization's work. As a nonprofit, is there a way to request or solicit reviews from the partner charities? From great nonprofits, yes, you can. What you can do is not from the partner charities, but from the partners. Let me do this one first. If you go to the FAQs and you say, I'm a nonprofit whose mission is related to one or more of the causes, FAQ 13, and you can get to the FAQs from Take Action on the left by clicking Take Action FAQs, or from the top you can go to Help, FAQs, and then Take Action at GuideStar. So FAQ 13 gives you the contact information or the process. GiveWell allows you to submit. Philanthropedia does not. But then also we have contact information for the other organizations so they can give you more information. Now, if you are interested in getting your supporters, your stakeholders, to write reviews that will appear not in the Take Action section, but actually in your report, then you can go here on our site to unleash. First you click on Update Nonprofit Report, and then you can click on any of these links on the left. It's a long story why the long list doesn't show up first. Then click Unleash Your Secret Weapon, and it will tell you how to give you some suggestions on how to get your supporters to write reviews for you or solicit reviews from your supporters, your stakeholders. And there's a toolkit that gives you a tweet, featured tweet, and an email, and suggestions. So that's essentially what you can do for reviews. And we are out of time, so I'm going to thank you for joining us. I hope you can join us for future Lunch and Learns, and I hope that you found this was productive. Thank you very much.